It is April 12th, Saturday morning, early. It is actually 5:48 a.m. I do have coffee. I'm going to have jazz music going on the dive lab here pretty soon, but I've got a busy dive day, and I'm going to attempt to make it even busier by documenting the day. We'll see how that goes. So what do we have on the go? And this morning at 10 a.m., I've got to help put the set of scuba diving stairs back into the river. We actually put them in and take them out before winter to make sure that they don't get damaged by the ice. So unfortunately, I am the lucky volunteer to get in the water and help put the steps in. So hopefully I can get some video of that. So I've got to get my single tank set up for that. And then I'm going to have to build my CCR before I leave, because at that point, I also want to go out for a rebreather dive so I can get through some practice skills. So it's going to be a busy dive day. I'm going to try my best to document it all. Practice hard, dive safe. The good news is I did some of the build a few days ago on the CCR, so I probably saved myself 10 to 15 minutes in terms of filling up the tanks, etc. But now I've got to get the O2 calibration done. Then I've got to get the loop on, get it all connected. And then, of course, I've got to do the pre-dive check. Well, and this is why we do pre-dive checks here in the dive lab. As you can see, the right side battery is completely drained, which is something that is not typical for this CCR. This CCR has two batteries, and I've never had issues up until the last week where this right side battery was continuing to drain even though it was on a full charge, which has never happened before. There's no CCR diving today, but I've still got to get the single tank setup figured out. Now we do a quick check. Make sure pressure gauge 3,400 psi. Quick check on the regs. Looks good to go. Spare mask. Take the GoPro. Heated vest is a must. The water is 36 degrees right now. Well, if we can't dive CCR, we're going to go for a Sidemount dive. Now we got to go get the thermals. One last gear check of the wall to make sure I've got everything. Looks good. The dive truck is packed. Dive day starts now. But first, we get to make our favorite stop.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, good. Can I just get a grande dark roast black?
For sure, anything else?
That'll be it. Thanks.
Sounds good. We'll see you up here. Thank you.
Well, we've got the coffee. And now we got an hour drive to Brockville. I do this drive about 4 or 5 times a week once the busy dive season really starts. Well, we made it to the dive spot. Let's see what we've got on schedule today with SOS. Sounds like we're putting in some stairs. Let's do it. So we're here in Brockville, taking a look at the Reynolds Yard's entrance into the St. Lawrence River. And this is actually a pretty cool spot that the Save Ontario Shipwrecks Thousand Island chapters built back in, I think, 2021. I actually got to help sort of watch the process and wheelbarrow some dirt. But shout out to Stephen Hatch and Steph Senecal, who basically built this. It's a secondary entrance. Centene Park is just down the road, which is sort of the primary spot for divers in the summer. But this is also a pretty cool spot. It has a really nice set of aluminum stairs that divers and swimmers can actually use in the summer. We pull the stairs out for winter, and then we put them back in the springtime. And it sounds like I'm the one who gets to go into the cold water today to help put the steps back in. But let's take a look. Let's make our way down to the water's edge. And here we have the glorious St. Lawrence River. Looks cold, but still looks pretty awesome. Have a really nice bench to get all your gear ready. And there you can see the stairs, and those stairs are going to slide down and head on into the water. We're all going on 613 dive, whether you like it or not. Yeah. Look, the only one doing the work is the wizard. There's a lot of supervising going on, Mr. Hatch.
That's because if we all go down there, the steps fall in the water.
Yeah. There's a lot of trust right now, Steph. So I'm just giant striding off, and then of course I've kind of fast forwarded because I already had the legs attached. I did actually drop the bag of bolts for the last bolt, so I had to go get it. I think that's coming up right here. And so then it's just a matter of tightening up the bolts, getting it all secure, because these stairs do take a bit of a beating over the course of a summer. Well, the steps are in. Let's take a look. We are ready for another dive season. Now that the stairs were in, I headed on back to the truck, got the side mount stuff loaded up, got it all configured, and headed back in the water for a very quick practice side mount dive. I had actually not dove side mount since December 2024, so it was good to get back in. I was certainly very rusty on the setup, and so here I'm just going through some basic buoyancy checks, tank trim, taking a look, so that way I can come back, take a look at the video afterwards, and see how the tank trim is looking. Just at the trampoline here in Reynolds Yard. And now I think we're going to go out and try to look at the navigation circuit that I use for open water students in Reynolds Yard. So if you head due west off the trampoline, you'll find the first floating bottle that we see here. And then if you head due south, you should find the yellow bottle that you can see is encrusted with a bunch of algae over the winter. And so this is another navigation point from the square. We're going to shake all the junk off it, and you can see these bottles probably need to be replaced this season. I'll actually probably put smaller little buoys in instead of the bottles. And then from there, if we head due east, we'll find the last bottle. And at the bottom of this bottle, there's also a small little boat anchor that we use for a search and recovery exercise when I'm teaching students. So here's the anchor as well. We're going to shake that off as well. You can see right now, visibility is quite good, but the water is certainly cold. I think it was 38 degrees. It's just due north back to the trampoline, and we went and took a look at the Coast Guard buoy, and here I'm just kind of playing around again, working on side mount buoyancy, and my hands are getting cold by then. It's dive number 2, and I figured I would take off the right stage and have a bit of fun before I surfaced. So that's it. Practice hard, dive safe. I hope you enjoy the video.